Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another edition of Running the Bases. Who the heck are we? I don't know. It's been over a month since our last show, and honestly, we've been taking a nice needed break. I was just talking before we started the show about how, for the last couple of years, we've done shows through summer break, and it's really, I've loved doing them, but it's this summer would have been very hard with all of our schedules. We're all doing very different things. It would have been really hard to plan a weekly show. And you know what? It's good to take time off. It's been very well needed and it makes it more special every time we get to do one of these shows too. So how's everybody doing? I've got Spencer Cheehawk and Nick Nath alongside me today. I am Michael Garaffa. Guys, what's going on in your worlds?
Anyway, just been chilling. It's been a good summer, but it's good to talk about baseball again. We got the All-Star game right around the corner. It's been such a long time since we've hopped on or done anything. So yeah, just excited. Unfortunately, my team's not doing too well right now, but that's okay. Baseball's been fun to watch, so I can't complain.
that it has.
I've just been enjoying my my week at home this week in the month of July before I go back out and go to. I got a wedding and then Chicago at the end of the month, so I'm kind of been enjoying the home life here a little bit, and definitely been really getting into the baseball gambling scene. I was in Missouri a couple of weeks ago. I got to see Ryan Blank, who's not here, but it was a lot of fun seeing him. But I don't know if you guys know this, it's not legal in Missouri, and I had a conniption there because hot dog eating contest, and I couldn't put money on the goat, and I was very upset. Very.
You can put money on that? Oh, that's
easy money. That was free, buddy.
What was the odds on that for him to win? Like negative 5,000?
Literally, like almost around
that.
That's
you wouldn't have made much money either way, but
if you throw that like grand down.
He hit the under though.
Yeah.
Wow.
He got charged by a protester.
Yeah, that's true. That hurt the over-under a little bit there.
Like a second, he just stopped his neck.
I know. I'm sad because I can't bet anymore. I mean, I wasn't really anyway, but I'm not allowed to anymore because of working for a Major League Baseball team. You're no longer you can't bet on baseball. So it's out of my world now, which is okay because, like I had told you guys before, I was planning on stopping anyway because they were going to steal my money, and by having to deposit, money, they take $20 out of your account every time, and I didn't like that. So
they usually don't.
They do for me with my credit card, which
that's
is
so
annoying.
Dumb.
Yeah, so because they don't take Amex
or making money by not gambling, depending. Some of your takes makes me feel like you might be saving money.
I don't know because I looking at some of my things that I have on here, because these were made before the season. I had hold on, I need to log in. It's the good old FanDuel thumbprint. I have a couple interesting ones. Now, the few that are going to really not work very well are the Yankees not making the playoffs. I put 10 on that before the season started. However, Paul Goldschmidt, regular season home run leader, I put 5 on that before the season to win 655. So that would be pretty cool. And Yordan Alvarez, I also put 5 on him to do that. I also put 5 on him to win the AL MVP. But the one that's going to really make me look like a genius was the $5 on Justin Verlander to win the AL Cy Young. So that was a good one as well. At plus 2,500 he was, and I put $5 on it. So
that's really good.
Incredible.
Yeah, that was a very good prediction by me because I just based this off of my predictions that I made before the season, so I'll take it. But unfortunately, we cannot be gambling anymore because that's against my contract. So let's get into current baseball chatter, shall we? We're going to go divisionally, and because we're going divisionally, that starts us off in the National League East with what has turned out to be a 2-team race, which was a 1-team race the last time we were here, has now developed into a 2-team race between the Mets and the Braves. I'm a Mets fan, so obviously I know all about this division. I'm intrigued to hear what you guys have to say about it. Spencer, we'll start with you. Obviously, this weekend was really big for the Mets, winning that 2 out of 3 games in that series. But just in general, what are your thoughts on how this division's looked?
I underwhelming might be a fair term or use here, just because I don't know. You probably know a little bit better than me. I thought Miami would be doing a little bit better than just at 500. I'm not saying that they would be anywhere near what Atlanta or the New York's doing, but the fact that they're sub 500 right now surprises me. I really thought this would be the point of breaking out for them. I think Atlanta's pitching staff really turned it on. Their offense is looking a lot better, and the Mets are definitely hurting right now. And you see this in previous years. And the fact that the Mets haven't completely folded during this time really kind of says a lot, maybe, about how different this team may be. That being said, I am still reluctant about Jacob deGrom coming back. It just seems less and less real, even though I know he's getting closer. But I couldn't imagine what this Mets team is going to look like if he comes back. I'm not going to jinx anything, and if he sticks around for this later playoff push here.
Is it my turn?
Someone needs to free Juan Soto. That's my last.
Ooh, sorry, I forgot to hit the unmute button on my microphone.
Oh,
Nick,
good.
that's all.
I thought I just shocked you guys with mine. I thought I just blew you guys away.
You did, which is impressive, very impressive.
Yeah. No, this division, I mean, like Michael said, it was once a one-team race, but then the Braves went on that huge win streak, and then ever since they've been playing really good baseball, the emergence of Spencer Strider, Michael Harris has been huge for this team. Two rookies that kind of came out of nowhere. Spencer Strider is looking like the rookie of the year right now. It's really literally a two-team race between a rookie of the year between Harris and Strider right now, which is phenomenal. That team is just getting healthier and healthier. Eddie Rosario just came back. He's hit the 2 home runs this year already. So yeah, they have key guys just contributing. Albies has been okay. Acuna's been Acuna so far. We're seeing a lot more like of what we are used to seeing from Acuna now. And so, yeah, I mean, like Spencer said, too, the pitching staff's been phenomenal. Max Fried's right now pitching like one of the best lefties in the game, if not the best, with like Shane McClanahan. So it's just a good all around team over there in Atlanta. And like we said before with the Mets, like Spencer said, they haven't folded yet, and this would be about the time they do. And so maybe this team is different. And DeGrom's making a AAA start already now, and like before we know it, before the end of the month, he will be on the rotation with Scherzer, with Bassett, with Carrasco, with Walker, and it's going to be absolutely disgusting. And I'm not sure what to think of it, but it's going to be a really fun race on the stretch. I wouldn't be surprised one bit if the Braves come out of nowhere and win this division, because that's what they've done in the past, and that's what's happened to the Mets in the past too. But the Mets winning this division would be huge for them. I guarantee both these teams will see in the postseason. So regardless what happens, it'll be a fun race. But yeah, just really good baseball so far.
Well, I will say that firsthand, being able to watch this race from a baseball standpoint, it's been really fun. And it's been hard for me because obviously a month ago I was saying, oh, the Mets have this division locked. I mean, it was a 10.5 game lead and it's now only 2.5. But I've been saying it for the longest time to people around me that if the Mets are in first place when Jacob deGrom comes back, they're winning the division. I have no question about it, because Max Scherzer has come back and he has been better than he was before he left. He's only allowed 2 runs. He struck out 20 batters over 13 innings in 2 games. Chris Bassett has been very up and down, but he looked great today, and he has pitched so well when they need him to. Carrasco has struggled, but his last start was promising. Taijuan Walker's been the best pitcher on the team this year. He's got a 2.5 ERA. David Peterson's had about a 3.5 ERA. So obviously you replace Peterson with deGrom. Oh, and don't forget, Tyler McGill's on the injured list. So he'll be coming back at some point too. And
yeah.
He is great.
60-day, he can come back till the end of September. That's all I was getting at, is that he may not be.
He went on the 60-day IL a month ago. He's only got a month left. So it doesn't matter. That's still an extra pitcher who will be in your bullpen come playoffs and down the stretch when it really matters. So where the Mets have holes are their offense. They need a big bat in that lineup. They're going to chase that, obviously. Trade deadline, same thing for their bullpen. They need a good bullpen arm. And that's what they're going to do. Again, also, we are going to have our trade deadline show, by the way, guys. August 2nd. Be there. It's going to be awesome. As much as we can be there, we'll be there. Spencer doesn't look so promised about being there, but I'll be there. I can promise you that, unless it's on a day that the D-backs play, in which I won't be here, or that
What
I'm
time would that
scheduled.
start at?
I don't know, early in the morning until trades are done. But you can be there whenever you want.
Okay.
The D-backs are not in town, so that is wonderful news.
I can do it at the third, right? Not the second, the third.
It's the 2nd. The deadline is the 2nd. Yes, it looks like
I might be at the ballpark when all this is happening. We'll see.
Yeah, it is. Let me triple check and make sure, because I'm about to make sure I take the day off from work, because I cannot miss that. Because if I miss the trade deadline, I'm going to cry.
You don't want to do that.
I do not. But the Braves also exposed a lot of issues. It is August 2nd. They exposed a lot of issues in this series when they played the Mets, in that they only can score runs via the home run, and that's not a good thing. They need to score runs with other ways. Their pitching was good, but the Mets got them out after 5 innings each game. So watching the Braves-Mets series, the Mets are going to be the better team if they aren't already right now, which is why I think the Mets are going to win this division. Obviously, that could just be optimism to me, but after watching every single out of this series, it matters a lot. To what Spencer said about the Marlins, I didn't expect them to do this well this year. Their team's still very young. I'm expecting them maybe a year or two. They'll get there. Phillies are a surprise because everyone thought they were going to be better, and they are just not. But obviously losing Bryce Harper is a big deal. So that's about the most that you'll hear me talking in this entire show, because it's the NL East. I'll leave it to these guys to do most of the breaking down for the rest. Obviously, you don't need to hear my voice the entire time. So that'll lead us to the NL Central, which has been an interestingly not covered race, considering that there's only 2 games separating the Brewers and the Cardinals. The Brewers have been flying really under the radar. They're only 9 games over 500, so they're obviously not the best team in the National League. But it's been a really weak division, but the Pirates are in 3rd. Obviously, the Reds have kind of sucked all year, but this division's just been a real anomaly, and I'm intrigued to hear what you guys have to say about it.
I'll go for,
Spencer, you lead it off every time.
The merry-go-round here. Well, I think the Brewers have been hurt a lot, and their offense has been stumbling more in non-productive ways than it has in the past. I feel like Milwaukee's offense has never been that impressive, and this year it's only gotten worse, but their pitching staff has been hurt, whereas in past years it's been healthy throughout. Woodruff missing quite a few games. Corbin Burns, maybe last year, took a bit more of a toll on him than people were expecting, with just how up and down he was, at least to start out the year. And I think St. Louis right now, they kind of –
You mean best player in baseball, Corbin Burns?
Right now, if Alcantara wasn't doing what he was doing, Burns would be in the lead right now. So he's going to finish top 3 in Cy Young voting. But regardless of that point, right now for St. Louis, they're kind of running on that veteran magic. There'll be maybe a fun early round exit in the playoffs. Maybe
they're the Brewers.
I wouldn't have them going far if they make it at all. But their pitching staff's phenomenal. Give some more offense some room here, and they'll look a whole lot better. But right now, so far, I'm not necessarily gonna start waving my flag about St. Louis here. And I said this last year too. I do not believe in St. Louis until St. Louis believes in themselves. I can't put any faith in this team until they do it themselves. And Paul Goldschmidt's great. Nolan Arenado's great. Tommy Edman, great. I still don't see how they can get more than 10 games above 500 at best. And right now they're at 5. So, and I think Milwaukee's got a whole lot left in them, and St. Louis has very few cards to play come trade deadline time. Then the bottom Pittsburgh's looking better. Cubs, we'll see who keeps their job at the end of the year, and then the Reds with the Reds.
Yeah. I will say Pittsburgh's been a nice surprise this year. O'Neal Cruz is slowly turning into like one of my favorite players. Very, very fun to watch. Yeah, very fun to watch. The Reds are the Reds. Yeah, they've actually been trying to play spoiler to the Yankees as of late, but
I know.
yeah, they've actually been decently. I wouldn't say fun to watch, but they're just like a miserable bunch of guys that just are out there. It's fun to watch sometimes. And the Cubs are the Cubs. You know, they're very, very much both those teams are very much in the rebuild. The Pirates trying to get out of that in the next couple of years, but yeah, to the contenders in St. Louis and Milwaukee. You know, like we said, it's a 2-team race, and right now, I would somewhat give the edge to St. Louis just because I don't think we've seen their best ball yet. The Brewers, for me, they just can't hit. You talk about not having a bat in the lineup. I don't really see a star-worthy bat in that lineup as of right now. Like Yelich is performing adequately, whatever, like better than last year, but like anything would be better than last year at this point. Adames has been inconsistent. Rowdy Tellez also inconsistent. You know, all these guys just don't. You don't see anyone hitting over 260 in this lineup really consistently or driving in runs consistently. So for me, that's the biggest issue is the offense, and your pitching can only carry you so much. And to me, that's where the Cardinals have the clear advantage. Their pitching isn't as far off as the Brewers are, and their hitting is like astonishingly better to me than the Brewers are. So to me, the Cardinals should walk away with this division. I would predict it to be a 2-team race up until this point. We'll see both these teams in the postseason at some point, I'm sure. But yeah, as of right now, the Cardinals pitching and with the way they're hitting right now, like you saw, they got to Gonsolin tonight too. Like they're starting to fire on all cylinders. I really do think that they'll come out of this division at the end of the year.
So I'm intrigued. If the Brewers don't win this division, what are the odds that they trade Christian Yelich to try and dump that contract?
I say pretty high because I don't like right now. They don't really see a team that's like eager to make moves. Like I feel like they're not going to be that aggressive at the deadline either.
Well, they're going to have to be. But yeah, I think you're right. I don't think they really have much of an option there. And Christian Yelich is just honestly weighing him down. It's a big contract that they have on the books that's preventing him from signing a really good player that they thought he was going to be, that he has turned out to be an absolute failure. And that's really what it comes down to here, is that Christian Yelich is anchoring the Brewers in the wrong way. Because most of the time you look at a player saying, oh, yeah, they're anchoring that offense in a good way. But Christian Yelich isn't doing it in a good way. And I think that's what's really going to hold the Brewers back as we go forward. Which leads us to the National League West, which is kind of another 2-team race here. I mean, the Giants are barely afloat at 45 and 42, 12 games back. The Padres are 50 and 40. They're only 8.5 back. Like I said, we saw the Braves eliminate 8 games like that. So anything's possible, and the Padres are going to be a better team when Tatis comes back. But the Dodgers, as usual, are pretty much just running away with this division. And as we get later in the month of July, we all know the Dodgers are probably going to make a big move at the deadline. They could really use a starting pitcher. I'd be shocked if they don't get a guy like Luis Castillo. They probably will be front runners to do that. And I mean, honestly, they could probably use a bat too. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if you see them fishing around the market for some guys to play. However, the problem this year is that the bats on the trade market are not as good as they normally are. I'm sure we'll see more kind of pop up as we get closer to the deadline. But as of right now, it's been a very, very lull in that market because there's really nothing there to pick from. So Dodgers, Padres pretty much leading that. Giants, Rockies, the D-backs aren't playing that bad. They're not terrible. Spencer, what are you thinking about this NL West?
All right, well, the Dodgers are the Dodgers. It's incredible to watch them. This team, I genuinely, I said this at the beginning of the year. I still believe this now, even when they've been, even at their worst points, this still might be historically the best lineup to watch ever. And I don't know if it's going to be able to stick around. It's incredible to watch. And then on the pitching side of things, maybe the worst that we've seen the Dodgers at in quite a long time on the pitching side, which is a little upsetting when you think about just overall how amazing this team could be. But, you know, they've won 57 games out of a pitching staff that's still top 5 in the league, could be top 2 at certain points. But overall, I think LA is still the team to beat in the National League. And I think if you're expecting anything less from them at the beginning of the year, you would be shocked. I know that no. As for San Diego, they're kind of like their younger version, and Manny Machado has really stepped up this year. And it's been a weird thing to see him play in San Diego. And it took him some time, I think, to really find that swing that he had in Baltimore. Because you guys remember back when the Dodgers had him for that playoff span, and he kind of looked a little lost, like he wasn't home.
Yeah, he was terrible with the Dodgers. Oh my god.
He looks so comfortable this year, which is a weird thing to say, but he genuinely looks like confident, and he obviously feels a lot more comfortable in San Diego than in the past. He's leading the whole league right now in WAR, which is crazy to think about. I don't think anybody pegged him to be that high up on the WAR charts coming into this year. Obviously, an all-star third baseman nonetheless. Tatis will come back. He'll play fairly well. Have you guys seen the reports that he's talked about being more open to playing the outfield going forward?
I think he needs to be.
Yeah. He's mentioned that he's kind of looking into that, and that might. I kind of believe now that if he especially wants to continue these antics off of the field, that for the sake of San Diego's investment, and if he's up for it, that might be his future. Might be in right field. It might be where they have to him. Now, that being said, he'll come back, hit probably 10 home runs, be incredible, playoff push. We'll see what he does then. Now, the Giants, I don't know if you guys have ever gone into Buddhism at all or done any research in Nirvana.
No.
Nirvana is described as a transcendent state where there's neither suffering, desire, nor sense of self, and subject is released from the effects of karma and the cycle.
He had it ready.
Now, I think last year the Giants had all that. There was no expectations for them to be great. Nobody ever got hurt for them last year. And they kind of were released from all pressures, and they didn't really know who they were. And I think this year San Francisco just doesn't know who they are anymore. I think that's where they're at right now. And I think that's why you're seeing them kind of teeter. I hope Kapler gets to keep his job. I do think he got a little too much slack in Philadelphia, and there was some truth to what he did last year, but I don't know if San Francisco is going to really scratch above where they're at right now, especially with it feels like almost no offense there whatsoever, which is just so bizarre considering how well oiled the machine was last year for them. And Arizona, they're trying their hardest. They look good at home. On the road, those struggles seem to be very real still. Alec Thomas, though, might be the best prospect Arizona has seen come out of their system just immediately ever, which is so exciting to see. Corbin Carroll now in AAA. He'll soon be on the way. Arizona's outfield in like 5 years, guys. It's going to be like the beginning, like if Stanton and Judge had been together in New York when they had started, it'd be like that. I think it's going to be like that, but more athletic. And I'm excited.
And add in there Jordan Lawler and whoever they draft second this year too.
Yeah. So that's my NL West opinion.
Yeah. So I'll start at the bottom here. I mean, the D-backs, it's there. It's all there for them. The prospects are starting to come up now. It's just a matter of finding those little tools to get out of the rebuild a little bit better. But it sucks to them. They're in such a competitive division, but I think the timing of when they're actually going to be really good is when we're going to see the fall of the said Dodgers, the Giants. The Padres will probably be good for a long time, but I think that in a couple of years, D-backs will really be up there just based on what you guys said. The Varsho, Carroll, and Thomas outfield is disgusting in my eyes. It sounds insane to me. And if they can keep Gallen, if they can mold these guys into future big leaguers, then it could be really, really scary in Arizona. And as for the Rockies, I mean, we also did not know what to expect coming in. I don't think they knew what to expect coming in. Obviously, you lose your star free agent Chris Bryant for the majority of the year, and then he comes back and hits 4 home runs in 3 days. It's what is going on? But they've been they've been whatever. They've nothing crazy. CJ Cron's been a nice surprise. He's hit like 20 balls. He's literally made to playing Coors Field. It's been cool to watch. And then Spencer gave a pretty good analogy with the Giants. I mean, the Magic's run out on that team, I feel like, and the age is really catching up to them. Belt and Crawford just aren't what they used to be. The loss of Posey's pretty adamant. I'm a little bit disappointed in Joey Bart. Thought he'd have a little bit of a better year, but these rookies take time as we know, and hopefully he starts to get his feet under him. Yastrzemski's looking a lot better, though. I'm excited about his progress. Peterson's the All-Star game starter. Who would have thought after that contract that he signed for? He's almost playing in Japan last year. Crazy. Literally signed like right before opening day. It was crazy. So, and I wouldn't be surprised, honestly, if the Giants start shopping like guys like Webb. I mean, it might sound crazy to say, but like if you could get great value out of him now, just start the rebuild at this point and get some good prospects from down the road because – Duvall's coming up soon. Dubon coming up soon. So we'll see what happens in San Francisco. And then, the 2-team race with the Padres and Dodgers. I mean, we know what to expect from the Dodgers at this point. Like the 1-2-3 combo of Mookie, Turner, and Freeman is just unheard of. But I don't think we'll ever see anything like that in baseball ever again. The fact that you have a former MVP in Bellinger hitting 7th, the fact that you have Muncy hitting 5th, Turner 6th, Gluck 7, what have you, like you can do so many things with that lineup. It's insane, and they're gonna end up going to the World Series again this year. Probably they're the favorites in the NL. They have been since the year began, and I don't doubt that. Spencer said it before though. The pitching has been a little bit concerning. Gonsolin's been by far and by way their best pitcher, which has been crazy. He got lit up a little bit tonight, but. Him, Urias, Kershaw, Buehler's been hurt for majority of the year, but he'll be back at some point too. The bullpen just has looked really, really shaky without Jansen. I'm really concerned. They'll probably be fishing for a closer at the deadline. I'd have to imagine they need bullpen help in more ways than one. So we'll see what happens there. And then I'm as far as the Padres go, I'm excited to see what happens when Fernando gets back. But unfortunately, I don't think it'll be enough. The lineup just lacks another bat. I mean, you can't rely on Machado and a half-injured Fernando for the entire year. And to me, that's where the distinction comes with the Dodgers is the Padres pitching is inconsistent and their hitting is inconsistent, and you can't have one. You can't have both being consistent against the Dodgers because they're going to bring both every single night, and the offense has looked inconsistent from time to time. So for me, it's the Dodgers to beat, but the Padres will be competing with Fernando back, and I'm excited for that.
Certainly going to be an interesting NL West, and I completely agree with everything you guys said. It's been very, very weird. It's been a weird year out there in the NL West because the Dodgers are not playing like the almighty Dodgers that we know them as. They're definitely not far and away the best team in the National League like they normally are. They're not guaranteed to be the best team in baseball like they normally are. And it's weird to see the Dodgers kind of showing cracks in the armor because the once almighty Dodgers that nobody could beat. I mean, if you think about it, they've only won one World Series in these last, 8 years that they've been the almighty Dodgers and the best team in baseball. I mean, the best team in baseball for that stretch should win more than just one World Series. So who knows? We'll see what happens when it comes down to it. So we flip over to the AL side. And on the AL side, we start with the AL East. And the AL East has just been, I don't even know what to say. I mean, the Yankees are running away with it because they've had a very easy schedule and they pounced on that, have dominated everyone. And now they're just up by a lot and they're going to keep playing well. The Rays have been the Rays. They're playing better than they should. The Red Sox have been great lately, but these last couple games have been terrible. The Blue Jays just fired their manager, which we'll talk about in a sec. And the Orioles are the hottest team in baseball and are now only 2 games out of the wild card. Let's chat the American League East. Spencer, let's hear what you got.
These Yankees, dude. Like, come on. Like, on Tuesday, they lost their 10th game at home for the entire year. It's July. Like, this is remarkable what's been happening in New York. You know, they had the best pitching staff in baseball until Atlanta decided to turn it on a couple of weeks ago. I don't know how you can't right now bet on the Yankees to just manhandle up until the Astros in the
And
in
the
the
entire
upcoming
National
playoff
League.
series. But as for the Rays, I mean the Rays, nothing too surprising there. They're always going to play better than you expect them to. Albeit on the road for them hasn't looked nearly as strong as in the past, and they aren't the same Rays. I'm worried they're becoming a bit too much like James Cameron and Avatar 2 here, where they're getting a little too infatuated with what they're doing and getting a little too deep into their system. And I feel like they are going to make some move here soon where it was like they're going to think it's really smart, but then it's actually just so not smart that it's going to result in maybe the Rays kind of falling apart here. So the deadline for them will be key. As for the Blue Jays, I'm not surprised. They've been so underwhelming this year, especially after last year. I don't know why they didn't wait till the end of the season to do this. It feels like they just threw in the hat for the rest of the year. I don't know if you guys feel. I feel like when you get rid of your manager this early, like the Angels, when we lost 14 in a row, gone. Right? Philadelphia went, oh, it's over, gone. Like we're gonna just. It feels like a waving of the white flag right before the season can get much better. And you may not like the manager, but you may as well finish out the year with them. There's no reason not. As rough as the Blue Jays have been this year, I do not think it has been such a detriment to have who they've had at the helm so far this year, albeit they've definitely been underwhelming. Now the Red Sox are starting to come back down to earth a little bit. We'll see. They're going to finish at worst fourth. Baltimore, awesome. Absolutely awesome. It's been incredible. This is definitely going to be a moment when the season's over and they still lost their 90 games that you'll be like, this was a cool moment. This was a lot of fun. But
I don't know. Maybe they won't lose 90 games this year.
You really don't think so?
I don't know. I talked to an Orioles fan the other day who said that their pitching staff looks really, really good, better than it normally does, and that the offense is pretty scrappy. I don't think there's a chance they make the playoffs, but I think there's a chance they hover around 500.
I think at the very end of the year when they really boost up those last set of prospects, that could kind of be what takes away some production there when they start to tool things out in that last month, and then maybe around 87 losses, but it's still not going to be. I don't see how they finish above 500. Still, I mean, even though they've been super good so far, I think the AL East was what people were trying to make the NL West at the beginning of the year.
Yeah,
when when the Diamondbacks were like 10-10, and they were like, every team in the NL West is above 500. What? And now the East is actually proving that if you want to make good baseball teams, be like the AL East.
Yeah, I mean this is remarkable. I mean every team's above 500. You really love to see this. I mean the AL Central could never, and it really could never. It has not ever. I don't think it will ever, because some team always has to suck in the AL Central, and it's usually every team besides one. And in terms of the AL East, it's the exact opposite, because every team is competent right now. Every team is out of a rebuild, and every team was fighting for a playoff spot. Wow, that's just called good baseball. I wish I could be a part of it, but as of right now, this is absolutely absurd. It's crazy to think that the Orioles have 3 less wins than the Rays do right now. No, I'll put it in more perspective. The Orioles have 1 less win than the Phillies, and they have 3 less wins than the Cardinals. The Cardinals.
Yeah, and 4 less wins than the first place Brewers.
The Baltimore Orioles have it's absolutely absurd. They've done this. It's not fair. It's really not fair, honestly, as a Tigers fan, that they're already competing again. This is simply just they're like I think they're like 20 something and 5 since they called up Adley Rutschman or something. Or no, not 25. Jeff Passan tweeted it out earlier. There's something absurd with Adley Rutschman, but. Yeah, shout out to the Orioles. This is mostly an Orioles rant because of how proud I am of them. They've just been playing such inspiring baseball as of late, and this might come back to haunt them, because they could go on like a 10-game losing streak and no one would be surprised really. But as of this moment, they're playing really well. The Blue Jays, they've been horribly, horribly disappointing, going up to such a slow start. Firing Charlie today was such the right decision, but I don't think they're waving the white flag. I think this was the right move in terms of a wake up call. Like, hey, like we're in the wild card spot right now. We're still fighting for it, but we were we had expectations at the beginning of the year to be a perennial World Series candidate. So I think they're going to be fighting from here on out. I mean, they have an easy series ahead against Kansas City with nobody playing in that series. So we'll see what happens from there. But in terms of Boston, yeah, they've been a nice surprise too, I'd say. Trevor Story got up to a really, really slow start, but picked it up as of late. The combination of Devers, Bogarts, and Martinez is absolutely disgusting. It's like probably one of the better 1, 2, 3 punches in the lineup that you'll see ever in baseball. So that's up there. And they just got Chris Sale back, who looked good. He's pumping 96, 97 again, which is kind of scary. In terms of the Rays, yeah, they have the best pitcher in the AL right now, and Shane McClanahan, who's been a really nice surprise. Such a good lefty, probably one of the best in the game right now. And the loss of Wander Franco really hurts them. That kind of sucks for the game of baseball too. But Harold Ramirez has been a really nice surprise, hitting like 330 now. I don't know how he's not an all-star. It's crazy. Actually, was he named an all-star? I couldn't see.
No, he was not.
That's crazy. But yeah, the Rays are just scrappy. They always find ways to win. They always do it in the weirdest ways possible. They'll always be there. And then, yeah, I hate to admit it, but the Yankees are really good at baseball. Judge is looking like not the clear MVP, but he's looking like he's up there. It's either him or Ohtani at this point. It'd probably be Ohtani after these last couple of games, but Judge has been phenomenal. He's definitely earned his contract in a contract year. Stanton's been really, really good, actually. He's just staying healthy. Nestor Cortez got off to a really hot start. He's cooled off as of late, but he's helped that pitching staff. Severino's been okay. Cole's been good. Like, all in all, they have a really, really solid team. The bullpen looks really good too. And I don't know. I don't expect this team to win the World Series. I don't expect this team to go to the World Series. I still see some holes in it that I think can be exploited later down the road. But as of right now, they're the favorites of the AL. But I wouldn't put anybody on them winning or going to the World Series as of right now.
Yeah, the AL East is definitely very, very interesting. Which, talking about the Blue Jays, we'll get into a little bit. I'll at least give my 2 cents on the Montoyo firing today, and if we have any other discussion about it. I agree with you, Nick. I don't think it's necessarily throwing up the white flag. I think it's just a last bit of desperation. It's a last-ditch effort to get this team going, to really solidify a playoff spot, because right now they are in last in the wild card race in terms of the people that are in a spot right now, in a 3-way tie with the Red Sox and the Mariners, who we'll get to in a minute. But the Orioles are hot on their tail. But the thing is, honestly, the only team that's not in that wild card race right now that could possibly make a push for it are the White Sox, and they're 3.5 games back. The Mariners obviously are going to probably stick around the rest of the year and be a real pest in that wild card race. But the Blue Jays can't just give up. They've got to fight. And if they felt like Charlie Montoyo being the head of that team right now is bad for the team, they've got to do whatever they can. If they think that the guy that they've got in there now is going to be better, they've got to do it by all means. It'll wake up the players. It'll kind of shock them into, well, maybe we've got to play better, and sometimes that's exactly what happens. I don't know if I noticed if they won today or not. The Blue Jays, I think
they win today. They killed them.
Yes, so they played well today with a new manager. They played well.
The Phillies too.
Right.
With the Phillies, though, they beat up the Phillies.
No. It happened to the Phillies.
Yeah, they won a bunch of games and then they lost games again.
The Phillies also aren't as good of a team as the Blue Jays are. The Blue Jays are built a lot better. So who knows? Maybe it's the wake-up call that they need. Anyone else have any final thoughts on Montoyo before we head off to the Central?
I do think the move was warranted. They had the 3rd highest run differential last year of any Major League Baseball team, and they didn't make the playoffs. So I don't think it was the wrong move. I don't know. Maybe it'll be like the St. Louis Cardinals last year, but a lot of times, when you fire the manager, it's an admission that they're failing.
Yeah, they are failing in terms of season standards right now.
Yeah,
they really are.
So,
I did win the World Series this year, so
so did I.
It's a babysitting job right now to have the Blue Jays though on that team. So, just you gotta just make sure everybody doesn't get down too hard and just keep the spirits high.
Well, Vladdy hasn't been Vladdy, and that's been a real problem. Not having him performing well. Injuries are obviously. He's been okay, but he has not been the guy he was last year, which is a big part of that lineup that they really needed.
And they lost 7-2, hit 40 home runs for them last year. So
Yeah. It has not been the same. However, Alejandro Kirk's a legend, and he'll get to start the All-Star game, which is nice.
Barrios has been absolutely terrible. We thought he'd be a lot better this year too. He's been actually terrible.
Awful. I mean, he's probably been the biggest disappointment in all of baseball from pitchers. And he was the guy that they relied on. And they also lost they added Gosman, and he hasn't been great either.
Gosman hasn't been everything in a bag of chips so far either. He leads the AL pitchers in WAR, believe it or not. But he's definitely not been the most. Yeah,
I know that.
Most consistent so far. Yeah,
that's surprising because he has not been the same guy he was last year.
No,
so that's interesting. So now we get to the worst division in all of baseball. Nick, this is your forte, the American League Central. The Twins are winning the division, 49-41. By no means are they a fantastic team. They are really not a great team at all, but they're playing against the Guardians, who have surprisingly been better recently. Wouldn't be shocked if the Guardians managed to win this division. The White Sox, who have sucked they've been the biggest disappointment of baseball. How Tony La Russa still has his job blows my mind. The Tigers have heavily underperformed, and the Royals are doing about what we thought, minus Ryan. This division's just lacking talent. I mean, look at the Twins. Correa's been so much better lately, but he's not the star. He's not making headlines every day like he did in Houston because the Twins just aren't that good. The Guardians, Jose Ramirez is always one of the most underrated players in baseball. White Sox have nobody that's been doing very well this year. The Tigers are obviously fun because they've got torque and, all of their young prospects are fun to watch. Other than that, it's been pretty boring for them. And the Royals, I'd argue that the Royals have been one of the more fun teams to watch, and they've just lost all the time. So I'll have Nick start this one because as the frustration is seeping out of him at the moment from the AL Central, I'm intrigued to hear your take. So take it away, Mr. Nick.
Yeah, this sucks. It's just so frustrating because, if we were, capable of playing good baseball and, wanted to, be competing, we could easily win this division in a heartbeat because that's how bad it is right now. And, making the playoffs would just mean so much for this franchise at this point in time. It would be so perfect to be competing Maggie's last year with everything going on and everything, but it is what it is. We came into the year, 4 of our 5 opening day starters are hurt on the IL at one point, so we can't do much about that. The hitting has been abysmal. Javi has not been seeing the ball as well as as of late he has, but he had that really rough stretch where he couldn't see anything. They were throwing him all away sliders, and he was swinging at everything. It's Miggy can't be your best hitter. 39-year-old Miguel Cabrera cannot be your best hitter on a baseball team. He just can't. But he has been. It's been fun to watch. He's been great. He's hitting nearly 290, 300 the entire year. It's been awesome.
That's elite.
It's very elite. You know how I love batting average. He's just been putting the ball in play and driving in runs. It's been phenomenal. But Riley Green's been looking fantastic too in the field, on the plate. I loved everything of it. Torkelson's struggling, I'll admit, but he's seeing good pitches. He's not going to get sent down or anything like that. He's here to stay. Defensively, he's really good too. So the core of this team is here. It's just we need more pitching. We need to be healthy, and we need a new GM, honestly, too, because this Alan Avila guy just is not cutting it for me. But enough about the Tigers. We'll be fine in 2 or 3 years. That's why I said that 2 or 3 years ago, but I swear this time we'll be good in 2 or 3 years.
You will, yes.
As for the rest of the division, I mean, I can't say much about the Royals. We literally just lost 3 out of 4 against them, but they've been abysmal too. Bobby Witt Jr. has been fun to watch. Their rookies have been really fun to watch. Their pitching sucks. Their bullpen sucks. Sorry, Ryan. He would 100% agree with me though, but
yes,
that's just how it is in the AL Central. And yeah, the White Sox have been very disappointing. I mean, it's always the health issue with them. Eloy Jimenez, believe it or not, he's on the IL again as of today. So Jose Abreu has been having to keep that lineup stable. He's actually been having a pretty good year, hitting 290 with 20 bombs, I think, or something like that. It's been pretty good. Moncada's been hurt too, majority of the year. Dylan Cease has been a really surprising all-star snub, who I think deserves more recognition. Giolito hasn't been very good this year, unfortunately. And yeah, all in all, the White Sox have just been very mid. They haven't had Anderson most of the year too, which is hurt. And for the Guardians, they've actually been. If I wasn't a Tigers fan, I would say they've been fun to watch because they kind of have been. Stephen Kwan got off to that really hot start at the beginning of the year. He's been a pleasant surprise. Jose Ramirez took a pay cut and is literally balling out in Cleveland right now. He's doing amazing. So yeah, Bieber's looked good as of late. I mean, they're just a really interesting group. They're the youngest team in baseball. They're younger than every AAA team in the league right now too, which is absolutely insane to me. Yeah, so they're here to stay. They'll be here for a while. This young core, Jose Ramirez, stayed here for a reason. He's looking to turn out really smart. And the Twins, I can say this about every team leading the division right now. They're going to be fraudulent, just like last year with the White Sox. Any team that wins this division is fraudulent as heck. And right now, that is the Twins as of right now. Don't let them fool you with being a 49-41 team. All three of us know that they're a first-round exit by any other perennial wild card team. Any team in the AL East besides the Orioles, I think, would beat the Twins in a 7-game series. It's not crazy to say at all.
The Orioles probably would beat them, honestly.
I don't think the Orioles would beat them. Let's not get ahead of ourselves.
Right now, if they played, they would.
Maybe. But yeah, no, the Twins, fraudulent. Buxton is one of the most overhyped players in baseball as of right now. I love him. I love when he makes plays, but he's literally hitting 220, bro. I cannot have that happen. Hitting 220 with 20 home runs just can't happen for me. Correa's looked really good as of late. Luis Ariz has been the surprise of the year for me, leading the league in batting average. Been very nice to see that. But yeah, all in all, they're so mid. Any team in this division that wins it's going to be mid. Any team that wins this division is first round exit. This is the worst division in baseball, and I hate to be a part of it, but
spoken like a true member of the AL Central right there. As we speak, Shohei Ohtani just grabbed himself his 9th win of the year. Astros lost to the Angels 7-1. Yeah, possibly. Which is perfect timing because here we are. Spencer, you do need to talk about the AL Central first, which I forgot because
you don't have to.
No, all good. I mean, okay, let me.
It's a good thing you said that because I'm just used to Nick going second.
Couple of quick notes. You're good. No, I mean, I can't really say anything much better. I think the Tigers and Royals, this is the beauty and ugliness of rebuilding is you get excited and then nothing happens, but you get excited because something could happen. I think right now that the Cleveland Guardians are the greatest what if for both the Mets and Padres, both teams right now, because they pretty much fueled this Cleveland Guardians team like the Suns did with the 76ers in the 90s. It's kind of fun to watch. And then Chicago, I haven't completely lost hope on them yet. No way do I think they're going to win the World Series. But I don't think they're going to finish below 500. I don't. I think they'll find. I think they'll find their way. I do. And they have a 4-game set against the Twins before the All-Star game. Well, they could be 1 game back by the All-Star game. And I think a really fun part so far about this year and about really this moment so far has been that teams like Seattle, who everyone was pretty high on at the beginning of the year. They were thinking, oh, maybe there's something there. Kind of stumble out the gate. And next thing you know now, these past 10 games, Seattle's kind of where everybody thought they would be. I put money on them winning the division because I was like, why not? But I put $2 on them winning the division. But
I put 5.
5, that's gutsier than me. But, and I think that that 4-game series against the Twins, if they take 3 out of 4, I think the White Sox will end up on top of the division and make a swift and uneventful first-round exit, albeit maybe they make a trade and somehow the ghost of the very alive Barry Bonds influxes on them and makes them great.
That's true.
But the Central, it gets a lot of hate. I don't know if I necessarily agree with all of it, but
I agree with all of it.
I think
I do too.
No, it's just the yin and the yang of how all these things work, though. So we'll see what happens there. It's kind of exciting, a 3-team race. No other division can say that going into the All-Star break. It's
That's how bad it is. That's how bad it is that they're not. Two of those teams aren't below 500 though. That's the issue we have here.
Yeah, that's even worse.
It's still exciting to watch. It's still exciting.
It's exciting, but
I don't know.
I do like that there's that any team really. I mean, even the Tigers at this point, honestly, could have a chance if they decided to push. But
let's just
we go to the Orioles side wins. We can't.
Right, exactly. If the Tigers won 10 in a row right now, they would be that would put them at 47 and 50. Let's just say they won 47 and 52 today. Well, obviously it wouldn't be today. You know what I mean? They would probably be within 5 games back. So
I'll take it. Let's go. Hypotheticals here. Winning 10 straight.
I know.
Easy. It's easy. 2 teams are doing it right now. It's
It's
trendy.
How lucky are really?
I know. There's a possibility. I don't think it's happening, but you never know.
It's not gonna happen.
So no.
I won't say it.
So that brings us over to the magical American League West that has been predominantly an Astros show, very similar to the AL East, except the teams behind them are just not that good. Astros have been dominant. They're probably going to win the American League again this year. But the Mariners they're being fun again, which is good. Julio Rodriguez has been a spark in that team. He's going to be competing in the home run derby, which I'm thrilled about. The Rangers have been the Rangers. They're not expecting to win this year.
I want to point out that since the end of April, they've actually had a winning record.
Who, the Rangers?
The Rangers have, yeah. They started the year out. At one point, they were 6-14, and they've gone 36-31 since then. That was on April 29th. And they're not expected to win either. So they're not going to win a lot of games, but they're sleepers. I think definitely going forward with the core that they're starting to build here. It's just an interesting note and a very dominant kind of.
Yeah, well, that's why they signed Semien and Seager to massive contracts for 10 years, because they knew that in a couple of years they're going to really need him. The Angels have been utterly awful. Shohei Ohtani is quite literally the Angels right now. Not even Mike Trout is the Angels at the moment. And the Athletics are just the Athletic. He's still the best player in baseball. I don't want to hear it. And the Athletics are still the Athletics are just bad, which, the Athletics actually are the worst team in baseball right now. They are tied with the Nationals for the worst record in the game, but the Nationals are 25.5 back and the Athletics are 28.5 back. They're looking like the D-backs of 2021. So it's pretty impressive. They've been pretty darn bad. Not much to say for this AL West division, so let's just get some concise wrap-ups here so we can head on into the All-Star break. And Spencer.
Just of the West really quick. I mean, Astros are amazing. No surprises there, really. I'm excited to see what Seattle does. They had to do this impossible feat, and it looks like they've just about done it. So it's what comes after this that'll really define how good this team will be and what the front office will really want to do going forward. I think Carlos Santana was a nice grab, and he's looked super good for them so far, which has been a bit surprising considering how uneventful he was in Kansas City. I think that was Thibodeau made kind of a smooth move there to pick up the walk god of baseball currently, in my opinion. I mean, like I said, the Rangers 36-31 since April 29th. Angel Shohei Ohtani is going to make history, and everybody should be able to watch him all the time. This man is probably the best thing baseball has right now outside of, and I say this begrudgingly, but the Yankees being this good. And then
I don't know if that's good for baseball, honestly. People don't like that.
No, it's good for that because then you get Jay-Z sitting right behind home.
That's true. It brings fans.
Look at baseball. And the Athletics, I mean, I hope they can get their stadium figured out this year. And that could be the one happy thing that happens for Oakland this year. Maybe.
Yeah, we'll see.
That's it. I mean, yeah.
So yeah, I'll go to like the second most boring division. But honestly, you could argue that the AL Central is more exciting than this division. You really could.
No.
You really could.
Shohei's in the AL West, so you've got to. It's Shohei. You could literally have Shohei as the only player in the AL West, and I'd rather watch that than the AL Central.
That's completely fair. Yeah. Well, anyways, I'll start from top to bottom. I mean, from bottom to top. The Las Vegas Athletics. They've been abysmal this year. Um, Absolutely horrid. I mean, that's what happens when you trade all your mats and all your star players. I don't know what they're doing with Frankie Montas. I hope he is on another rotation post trade deadline. We all need that. I think he needs that after he literally threw in like an almost no hitter, and then they lost after giving up no hits. That was the epitome of their season right there. I was like, what is actually happening? And the Angels, yeah. I mean, Mike Trout is showing that he's human, but that doesn't disqualify him from the best player in baseball. I say it's either him or his teammate right now. It's one of those Angels.
I'd agree.
And unfortunately, the team around them just is not performing. It's literally just.
I had Shohei ahead of Trout for a reason. This was the point I was trying to make. That this was gonna happen. This was not.
I don't want to bring up your takes from earlier. This is no. We're not doing.
He's striking out at a rate that he's.
I will say
strikeout percentage right now.
Miggy and Trout have the same amount of stolen bases this year.
Oh wow, that's incredible.
I'm pretty high on that. But
-1 for Trout.
It's like +2 for Miggy though. Yes. Anyways, the Angels terrible. I could do a better job being general manager of that team. Just get them players to around Shohei and Trout. It's really not that hard if you think about it. Like, they've had one surprising player. Has it been Taylor Ward? Taylor Ward's been like,
yes,
he's like 300 this year. That's been pretty good. Syndergaard's been okay. It's been whatever. And then for the Rangers, Simeon and Seager, those big deals. We'll see what happens if that happens. But they're in a rebuild right now as well. Adolis Garcia is still getting healthy in this rehab. So they'll be fun to watch in about 5 years. I'd say 2 to 3 years. That'd be good.
When Jack Leiter joins that rotation, it'll be fun.
Yes.
My benchmark.
That will be exciting.
Yes, I will I will be watching that game when Jack Leiter makes his major league debut, probably on opening day in 2023. If I had to guess.
Yeah, that'll be very exciting. And then with Seattle too, yeah, Julio Rodriguez has been a star already, and he's doing everything you could ask for out of a rookie and way more. Ever since that brawl, they've been playing such better baseball. I don't know if that's part of it, but it's just something I've noticed lately. Yeah, they've gotten on this magical 10-0 run like they did last year, but they're doing it a lot earlier, and they're able to like fight for playoff contention now. Like, it's been fun to watch. And then with the Astros, what else can I say? I've been one of the only ones to not hop off the wagon that they're going to be so very good, and I continue to ride that wagon because they are just a very good baseball team. They're everything you could ask for, and getting a 39-year-old Justin Verlander back doing as well as he is, that's been the icing on the cake for them. Just because they're one pitcher better now. They're like one Cy Young candidate better now, and that's just super scary going down the road because like it's not fair that you lose Carlos Correa and then Jeremy Pena is just this good already. Like, it's just not fair.
Yeah.
Like, I don't like, it's just not. It's whatever. It's fine. But yeah, the Astros are amazing. They have a great farm system. They have a great everything, and just it'd be nice to be a winning team fan right now. But yeah, shout out to the Astros. Okay. They're doing everything right, and they've handled the rebuild. Not the rebuild. They've handled losing their star players very well because they've had replacements ready. Like with Springer, they had Tucker. Correa, they have Pena. So just great job.
I mean, even Aledmys Diaz is playing really well as of late, and he's like, people are like, who is this guy? So, yeah, the Astros are they're good. They're very good, which leads us into my favorite weekend of the entire year, All-Star Weekend. I mean, who doesn't love All-Star Weekend? It's my favorite day in the calendar year, not just in baseball, but in all of everything on Earth. My favorite day in the calendar year is Home Run Derby Day, and we're 5 days away from it, and I'm stoked because I get up in the morning. I'm up at like 7 a.m. I go out to a field and I play wiffle ball, and I do a wiffle ball home run derby. And it is a blast. I come home, I play the home run derby on MLB The Show, and I just enjoy my day, and it's awesome. So obviously I'm thrilled that we are almost here at the incredible weekend. It starts Saturday. We've got the Futures game, which no one's going to watch because it's on Peacock, because Major League Baseball doesn't like spreading the game. And then Sunday is a big day because it's the draft. First day draft has its own day. And of course, I'm working again, so I don't even get to watch the draft this year, which is going to just peeve me. Which we'll break these down individually a little bit more after I'm done. But then Monday's Home Run Derby, and then Tuesday's the All-Star game. And I'm really upset about that because I'm flying to Florida Tuesday night, and I'm going to miss probably the entire middle of the game. So that'll be pleasant, but hopefully they'll have it on TV on the plane, because I'd cry if they don't. So nobody, obviously nobody really cares much about the Futures game now that we can't watch it. Obviously it's going to be awesome. It, for a game that really needs much more attention, they did the exact opposite. The Futures game deserves so much more attention. And what do? Oh, they make it so that you have to pay to watch it. Oh, that's awesome. So we'll just skip over to Sunday and the draft. Any thoughts on the draft and excitement for that, or anything?
Can I give an alternate take on the Futures game?
Of course.
I'm not necessarily the biggest fan of it. Okay, here's my issue with it though. Okay, I'm not the biggest fan of it. I'm just not. No, that's it. That's all you're getting. It's really though the idea that, like, and I think this is kind of where baseball doesn't really understand itself, is that with the NBA and the NFL, when you do the drafts, when you do the Futures games, like, the top 5 guys are going to be at least average players. This Futures games, don't get me wrong, you get a few cool moments where you get 5 or 6 guys in a picture.
That's
but
true.
there's 45 people at that game, and the success rate to that game, to the majors, to me, it's not what baseball I think is good at. And that's the nostalgia feeling almost. And so the draft is cool because that's good college players. You get to find out where they go. But the Futures game to me it's cool because you might hear about a couple of guys, and it's cool for them. And I'm not saying they should get rid of it, because these guys get paid a bunch of money to go do it, so they should be able to go do it. And there is a niche market for it. But I think that making that the premier spot, or something to premier highlight, makes it tricky, because a lot of these guys, even then though, let's say this guy plays great in the Futures game, he's going to disappear for at least 6 more months, another year, before he gets called up. So to me, it's cool to watch. I like baseball. I like watching it. It's fun seeing the Minnesota Twins 5th overall ranked prospects playing. But like, at the same time, like, I'm not going to get my sister to get excited about the Minnesota Twins 5th overall prospect, right? So there's that aspect of it, in my opinion, at least. That's my take on the Futures game.
I agree with that.
I'm not trying to down it, and Peacock's dumb. I'm not saying Peacock isn't dumb. I think Major League Baseball should have taken less money and put it on Apple. I don't disagree with that.
Yeah, I agree.
But is that the worst thing? I'd rather it be that than the All-Star game or the Home Run Derby.
Yes, obviously. Right? Well, yeah.
Right.
I would.
I think if I put anything on Peacock, that's the perfect thing to put on Peacock.
I agree. Nick, any thoughts on the draft and Futures game?
I'm just intrigued to see where Kumar Rocker goes and signs this time.
I agree. If he does.
Yeah, if he does. That's like one of the biggest headlines for me going into this. The draft is just weird. Like, I feel like for me, not until like a week before should I really do like all my homework and just see like who's available and see like what's going on. Because like I feel like with other sports, we know the way too early like mock draft as soon as like that said sports like championship game is held. like analysts are on it like that. They know like this. They know the prospects like years and years before. And with baseball, we don't really know just because. I do apologize. We just
Of
don't know
course.
just because of high school. God,
The one time you start talking, it
Popular.
just decides.
yeah, but no, it. I don't really have an opinion on the draft. Just whatever happens, happens. I hope my team gets the player that we need. Hasn't gone right in the past, but we'll see what happens. But yeah, with the futures game, it's just a cool opportunity to see, your prospects just performing at the highest level and that at their level. So it'd be cool to see.
The draft has been something that I'm glad that they're finally hyping up, though, because I think it definitely deserves attention. Ryan always hates the draft because he says it's not as special as other sports, which is true. Obviously, in the way baseball goes, the number one pick doesn't always turn out to be a superstar. But it is really cool to kind of see that young talent because you learn new names, and somebody in that first 30 is going to be a superstar someday. That's just how it happens. Every year, one of the guys in the top 30 becomes a star in the future. Last year's draft was just so much fun. It was hard to not pay attention to with Lawler, with Leiter, Rocker. I mean, it was awesome. And this year has no lack of talent too. I mean, Drew Jones is probably going to go first, which is no shock. He's the son of Andrew Jones. He's going to be a stud. You've got Elijah. I think it's Elijah Green. Yeah, Elijah Green. Yeah, Matt Holliday's son is in there too. Jackson Holiday, who might go to the Diamondbacks. Obviously, I'm more focused on the Mets, who are looking to draft the guy out of U of A, Daniel Susac. And if they do that, I'd be thrilled because I got to watch him play, and he's a really great player. So I love the draft. I think it's so much fun. I think I'm really glad that they're finally promoting it the way that they should by making it its own day, giving it like a whole show. To me, that's what the draft should be all about. It's a fun day for these kids, even if it's the last time we hear their names ever. It's a good thing for them just to get that kind of exposure. So the home run derby is obviously my favorite thing of them all. I could talk about it for hours, but I won't. We have 7 of the 8 players already. I'm going to try and rattle them off the top of my head because I've been obviously paying attention to it. We've got Pete Alonso, Kyle Schwarber, Juan Soto, Julio Rodriguez, Jose Ramirez is also announced as well. We also have, did I say Kyle Schwarber yet? I don't know if I said Kyle Schwarber yet.
Just now, so I guess
I did, but in the event that I didn't, I don't want to be missing any. I didn't want to look this up, but I have to, and I'm really upset.
I have the list if you want me to read it right now.
Well, we also got Acuna and Pujols, so I did say I said Schwarber before. Acuna and Pujols. Pujols is he's just in there for fun. He's not going to do very well, but it'll be fun to watch him. And Pete Alonso obviously is, going for the 3-peat, which has never been done before. And I think there's a very real chance it happens because he's got Dave Joust, the same pitcher as last year. So he's going to be getting pitches right down the middle every single time. It's going to be, honestly, looking at this lineup, it is probably going to be the best home run derby field we have had in maybe a decade. We have not seen great home run derby lineups the last couple of years. Last year was pretty good. But, 19, 18, even 17, you started seeing it kind of get a little bit worse by the year where it wasn't the biggest names because the biggest names didn't want to ruin their swing. But now we've got, if Tatis was healthy, he would have been in this for sure because they're the star guys, Acuna, Soto. Soto's been in it the last I don't know if he was in it in 2019, but he was in it last year, and he's back again this year. He wants to hit the furthest opposite field home run in home run derby history. And, Pujols is just in it for the fun of it. This is what the home run derby is all about. The guys that are stars in the game should be in it because they're just superstars. They're going to bring the viewership, and it makes it more fun for me, obviously, because it's my favorite day of the year. But to me, home run derby is it's going to be awesome. And I'm so excited for it.
I'm a little upset that you didn't mention the only other player to hit the 3-peat.
No, nobody's ever done a 3-peat before.
It's the kid.
No, he only had 2. He only did 2. I remember because last year they said that Pete Alonso would be the first to ever win 3 in a row if he did it.
It says on my article here that He won 3. Let me.
Does it really? I think he's won 3 total, but I don't know if he's ever won 3
Not
in a
3 in a
row.
row. Oh, he'd be the first one. Oh, okay.
Yeah, he'd be the first.
That's what 3P means.
Yeah, he'd be the first 3-peat, literally.
Okay.
And I would love. I will get a shirt that says 3-peat.
Yeah,
that'd be really sick. I didn't realize the wordplay there.
Yes. Oh yeah. The 3-peat was yes. I'm rooting for it, obviously.
I have to run in the morning. I'm a little tired.
Literally run. Well,
Literally
we're gonna roll it into the All-Star game, which there isn't much to talk about anyway. I just want to hear your predictions on who's going to start on the mound for both teams, because who the heck knows?
I think
I got you.
I'm rooting for Acuna for the home run derby.
Oh yes, the home run derby prediction, obviously, Nick.
Soto.
Wow. Okay. Well, considering Soto's only trying to hit the ball the opposite field, I don't know if that's a very good pick.
He's not.
Picnic. That's funny. I'm obviously going with Pete Alonso. Not even biased. I've never seen a guy so good at the home run derby in my life. I'm fascinated. If I wasn't a Mets fan, I would be saying it's going to be Pete Alonso.
Sleeper is Schwarber for me, though.
Yes. Oh, I agree. Schwarber. It's either going to be Schwarber or Alonso in my eyes.
Or Acuna. I wouldn't leave out Acuna.
Acuna's more of a dead center hitter. He's not a pull hitter, and that's what's going to hurt him.
I wouldn't count him out, though.
He hits more towering home runs, which cuts into time. You need the guys that hit the line drives. Like Schwarber can hit laser beams down the right field line. That's going to help him. Yeah, right. Soto can also
hit home run today. Oh my god!
I didn't know.
Today. His second one.
Oh
my god!
Oh, well, he's a stud. What do you expect? So All-Star game starting pitchers. I'm guessing that it's going to be Alcantara and Ohtani. I see no really other ones for me, but
I got. Well, if it's anyone but Sandy, I'm gonna be really, really upset. If they choose Gonsolin after what happened tonight, I'm gonna be really, really upset. It really should be Sandy. I hope it is Sandy. And on the AL, it either is gonna be Shohei or McClanahan. Probably going to give it to Shohei, but McClanahan's been just as of, if not more, deserving in my eyes. Shohei's obviously going to get his spotlight in the DH anyway. He's going to come in the game at some point to pitch anyway, so might as well give it to McClanahan because he's been the best pitcher in the AL this year. So that's for me. It should be Sandy and then McClanahan.
But will Shohei come in to pitch if he's not starting? Because I don't know how the rule goes, but I know that there's the rule that
there's no rule. What rules? What rules?
The starting pitcher as the DH. I think it's only the starting pitcher can start as the DH, and I don't think you can then make the reliever the DH then.
It's
because he would have to do it. I know, but they still have to.
They can make up it, dude. Okay, I have as much as I love McClanahan because I love this guy. I love this guy as much as I do. I think it's going to be Ohtani. And you know what? Man, it's really too bad that Kershaw's. Is he back? I thought he was still hurt. Is he not still hurt?
He's back, but he's not going to start.
He's not going to start. I wish he would, though. Like, that would be perfect.
It's not his last year. It's fine.
Yeah. It would be perfect, though.
It would be perfect. It's in LA, yeah. That's why. That's the only reason why Gonsolin would go.
Yeah, that's very true. We'll see.
They might put it to Alcantara, but if they're gonna pick somebody from a mainstream, like very big market type thing, they're gonna. If they decide to go, we need to pick somebody with a large following. Musgrove not being too far away from San Diego, that could be the other guy that ends up.
He's been good. He's been good.
He's been good, but Sandy's been so much better.
Oh no, yes. I know. I don't disagree with that. I'm just saying, just because they've been great doesn't mean they'll start. Like it's not always.
It's more of a popularity contest for sure. Sorry. We'll see though. It'll be very fun. I think it's going to be a great weekend. I'm looking forward to it. It's been a great show for the first time in a month and a half here on Running the Bases. I've enjoyed it. It's too bad Ryan couldn't be here with us, but hopefully he'll be here on the next one. Who knows whenever that'll be, whether it's the trade deadline. Yes, Spencer?
I just want to say happy birthday, Dominic Stern.
Yes, sir. Happy birthday, Dom.
They lost again.
Padres could not win.
They have still not won on his birthday in his entire life.
It's cursed.
That so sucks. That's why I'm lucky the Mets don't play on my birthday.
Same.
Yeah.
That's mine. I love it.
Yeah, no, it's because they would ruin my day. But that'll do it for us for today. The next time you'll see us will either be before the trade deadline or trade deadline day. So August 2nd, the latest that you'll be seeing us next. No matter what, though, obviously enjoy baseball. It's going to be a great weekend for the All-Star weekend. As we get closer to the trade deadline too, life's going to be great. Thank you so much for watching. We will see you all in the next one.